uranium in a minute. Apache helicopter gunships are also engaging, has a 30-millimeter cannon of its own, as well as Hellfire missiles.
CENTCOM says the U.S. has carried out more than 8,000 strikes on Iran, and as Iran keeps a stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, energy prices fluctuating. Brent crude is higher at this hour, $109 a barrel. U.S. crude's hovering around 97. Gas is also up nearly $1 in a month. Martial arts champion and star of Walker, Texas Ranger, Chuck Norris dies.
'Cause the eyes of the Ranger are upon you.
The action star who became a global symbol of toughness and later an internet legend rose to fame as a karate champion before breaking into film, most notably on opposite of Bruce Lee in The Way of the Dragon. He went on to headline 1980s action movies and became a household name on television. His family says he lived his life with faith, purpose, and unwavering commitment to the people he loved. He died suddenly yesterday in Hawaii. He was 86. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect variable cloudiness with a high temperature of 65. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 35. Tomorrow, anticipate partly sunny skies and warmth with a high reaching 70. By Sunday, it'll be mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler with a chance of showers in some areas. The high temperature will be 50, but temperatures will drop into the lower 40s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Larry Elder is impressed.
Destroyed apparently half of Iran's missile capability. Half have achieved air superiority. The Iranian naval, bottom of the ocean. Top leader and 40 some odd other top leaders wiped out in one fell swoop. This is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus, leaving him partially paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available. Financing is flexible. And at Air Right, installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
I spent years in the Marine Corps learning discipline, attention to detail, and how to do the job right. I'm Jim Melchert, and these standards stayed with me when I founded Garage Store here in Chicagoland. Your garage is probably the most neglected part of the house. Cracked floors, clutter everywhere, and a lot of wasted space. Garage Store provides solutions for that. Built for Chicago weather, our beautiful, durable floor coatings can be installed in just 2 days. We also install heavy-duty cabinets, overhead storage, even vehicle lifts. From floor to ceiling, your garage will be transformed into a space you'll be proud of and a space your friends will envy. Plus, our in-house, professional, respectful crew delivers timely installs. See why thousands of Chicagoans are transforming their garages with Garage Store.
Schedule your free in-home garage makeover estimate today. Call 847-428-8862 or visit garage-store.com. That's garage-store.com. Garage Store, built on service, driven by quality.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Good Friday morning and welcome to The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson. We have a busy Friday. We've had a busy week with the election and then going over the election results. But we want to start with a little bit of breaking news. I don't know if you're familiar, Jeanne, with the Deputy Mayor of Public Safety. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Because a lot of people
sort of made up position doesn't matter, because if you're talking public safety and you're not actually in the police department, I'm really just not interested in what your position is as a deputy, assistant deputy to deputies.
I think it's a great point, because Mayor Johnson, of course, has created many six-figure jobs. But yesterday, abruptly in the afternoon, Manny Woodfield, who is part of the Violence Interrupters, and Gary and Gatewood were escorted out of City Hall. Now, I've been around a long time. That's a big deal. And what Garion did was he ran straight to Fox 32 and gave them a brief interview and criticized the mayor.
Should the people of Chicago be concerned about how this office is being run?
I think there is a culture in this office where when you work to hold people accountable, you become a target. And I am not the first person to say that. That is out in the public sphere. I am not surprised that this was a route to go. I am at peace, Paris. I am.
I don't know if he's at peace. He's getting back at his former boss. 312-642-5600 is the phone number. You can also text us on that very same line. You can watch us on YouTube at Breakthrough Ideas YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. But do you ever remember somebody getting fired and then running to the media like this? Because I don't remember that under Rahm or Daley or even Mayor Lightfoot.
Well, that's now how they can get their message out and their spin out, is they go to the media. Because, I mean, honestly, even if you got fired like this, it's not very loyal of you. I mean, how much money did you make off the taxpayers when you got hired by this guy? And what did you do, by the way? What did he actually do?
That's a very good question. So I asked my source that basically, First they told me, Jeanne, that women in the office did not like being told what to do by Gary and Gatewood. Okay, that was somebody who's close to the situation said that. And then whenever Mayor Johnson would allegedly have a panic attack or for some reason have to go to emergency care, this deputy mayor would go on his behalf to public appearances. So there was some infighting apparently, and it got to a point where he was, escorted out of the building for everybody to see in the office. So, Mayor Johnson, he had bragged about that, about cleaning house a long time ago, that he should have done it sooner. This was him 2 years ago.
I will say, if there was something that I could, maybe do differently or just reset. All right. I would have cleaned house faster. Seriously. I was raised a certain way. I'm just being honest, that there were a number of people that I inherited in my administration, and I was trying to show, godly presentation, that we can work with people who come from other administrations. They don't have to agree with me 100% to work within my administration. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. If you ain't with us, you just gotta go. So now I'm in a position now where I'll be making some decisions in the days to come, because playing nice with other people who ain't about us, it's just a waste of exercise. Everybody don't have that Joseph anointing. They just don't. So there's a whole bunch of people like, oh shoot, who's about to get fired? Well, you're about to find out. Stay tuned.
I don't know. Jeanne, what's your reaction to that? I mean...
And you're saying that clip was what, from 2 years ago?
Yeah, from 2 years ago. But he brought in Gatewood, the other person that was fired, was a leftover.
Manuel Whitfield was the leftover because he was also fired, the director of violence prevention and community safety.
Yes, he was in charge of organizing those the
flip workers.
I'm sorry, why am I having a radio Heimers right now? The violence interrupters, yes.
Yeah.
Which a few of them ended up being convicted felons who were out on the Safety Act, taking pictures with Governor Pritzker, and then allegedly patrolling the streets at night in hotspot crime areas. And I'm worried because this weekend, I mean, it's going to be warm. It's going to high of 70 degrees. People are going to be out, and I'm always concerned about safety, but when it's warm out, especially after we had that cold snap and all that snow, I think it's going to be dangerous. And I'll just tell you this, that in May of 2023, Johnson did praise him for the city's drop in homicides. And then because of a lack of crime. But I think we have less crime because President Trump sent ICE in and arrested thousands of Tren de Aragua gang members from the South Side, this 2 apartment complexes on the South Side, and took other dangerous criminals off the street.
Well, what I'm disappointed in is the fact that we spend well over $100 million on violence interrupters, and that's just that category of violence prevention. That's not including all the fake job programs for teenagers and all the other fake mental health programs and the fake after-school programs and the fake basketball at midnight programs that don't do a damn thing. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this violence stuff, and yet we're getting nowhere on violence, especially when you look at, double hammer guy on the CTA 2 days after being let out of prison. He's there, saying he's going to kill white people. But here's the real problem here. They also said that First Deputy Jason Sanford will now serve in the interim role, which means they're not getting rid of the position. They're going to fill the position with some other patronage hire, and he's not going to do anything either. I was kind of hopeful that maybe we would just get rid of some staff here because they're not doing anything.
312-642-5600. Yeah, they're just replacing one person with another doing the same thing. But the fact that women don't like being told what to do, they only want to take orders from Mayor Johnson. I mean, it's this whole administration is a joke. He has surrounded himself with people who are not strong leaders, who are not strong on policy. Who has ever balanced a budget there? Because we're in a budget deficit, pension deficit. And, I just don't know how it's going to get better unless we vote him out of office in 2027, which is going to be here sooner than you know. And there's already people, that are going to be lining up. I heard Alexi Giannolius is going to run. Mike Quigley's going to run. I don't know if they're the answer, but anybody's better than Brandon Johnson. He has been a colossal disappointment, and he's been a huge embarrassment.
Well, he also, according to the Sun-Times article, it appears that he actually created this position. So it's not one of those guys from 2 years ago. Johnson credited the People's Plan for Community Safety, led by Gatewood, for the summer's decade low of homicides. And he sent out a press release applauding a recent media report that the initiative found crime was down by double digits. And I'm remarkably proud of the work that we're able to do, Gatewood said. This didn't have anything to do with work. Just yesterday, they were tagging me on social media, highlighting our work together. And then the article went on to say Johnson created the position of Deputy Mayor for Community Safety just hours after his inauguration in May of 2023. He saw the role as crucial to delivering on key campaign promise to confront the root causes of violent crime. Gatewood was at that point the director of the Illinois Justice Project. That's a complete fake NGO. And at the Justice Project, apparently Gatewood was charged with developing strategies to support young people, adults, and returning citizens. Returning citizens, folks,
what does that
is
mean?
Code for I just came out of prison and I'm returning to the community. It's not people from, elsewhere coming back. That's what a returning citizen is. And we spend, again, hundreds of millions of dollars on NGOs that support all of this quote unquote violence prevention. And then we put in these new job positions, which apparently Johnson did. And yet we still have high crime.
312-642-5600. That is the way you can reach out to us via text message or on phone. We got a text message from 847. It's 847, excuse me. Jeanne and Amy, don't forget, criminals are about to get a major privacy upgrade, too, in Illinois, where if you're applying for rent or a mortgage, they can't ask you about your criminal background.
Well, much of that is already true and already in law. They got rid of the check the box on the application. You can no longer check a box yes or no whether or not you've been convicted of a crime. That is gone. That is illegal to put on any job application in the state of Illinois. They got rid of that years ago. And then also this whole thing, you want crime-free housing. We've had crime-free housing ordinances at the local level, and then the state has come around and said you can't ask about criminal records when you're renting. So, yeah, this is a big problem. Okay, sounds great. Well, we've got some big hot story coming up next. We've got Peter Breen. He's with Thomas More Society. They had a huge win at the Supreme Court about parental rights. And I want to bring this full circle because I'm bringing up the Jay Keck article that he wrote in USA Today from 2019. And boy, doesn't he wish he had this ruling back then. We'll explain.
Exposing the lies and the misinformation from the politicians and the media. This is The Real Story on AM 560. The Answer.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5407 to schedule a free consultation.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
The smartest self-defense decision is not made in the moment. It's made before danger ever appears. Because when you pull a firearm trigger, well, you're not just stopping a threat. You may be starting a chain of legal, financial, emotional consequences that can follow you for years. Now, that's why more responsible Americans are choosing to lead with a less lethal option that is effective. That's where Burner, their less lethal launchers, it fires tear gas, kinetic rounds, pepper spray. It's designed to stop any attacker for up to 40 minutes. And it gives you time to escape. It gives you time to create distance and get help without using deadly force. Now, Burner's best-selling compact launcher is sleek, it's slim, it's incredibly powerful. It's built for discreet, everyday carry. No background check. They can ship it directly to your door. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your future. Start with less lethal. Visit byrna.com today and find the right launcher for you and your family. That's byrna.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, happy Fun Friday. Don't forget, at 11:35, we have Free for All Friday, where we'll be taking your calls, and you can ask us anything and get anything off your chest. But first, we're honored to have our next guest, Jeannie.
Yes, we've got Peter Breen with Thomas More Society coming on. Before we bring him on, though, I just want to recap a little bit what's going on, because what happened at the Supreme Court in the Mirabali versus Bonta court ruling is astronomical. It's very, very meaningful, and honestly, it should have happened a long time ago. Writing in USA Today back in 2019, and this is a local story, which is why I want everybody to listen up. We are 7 years late in having this ruling occur. And Illinois is ground zero for the garbage that schools are doing when it comes to parental rights and this topic. Jay Keck writes, "My daughter thinks she's transgender. Her public school undermined my efforts to help her. In April 2016, my then 14-year-old daughter became convinced that she was my son. In my attempt to help her, her public school undermined me every step of the way. Throughout my daughter's childhood, there were no signs that she wanted to be a boy. She loved stuffed animals, Pocahontas, and wearing colorful bathing suits. I can't recall a single interest that seemed unusually masculine or any evidence that she was uncomfortable as a girl. The only difficulty she had was forming and maintaining friendships We later learned why. She was on the autism spectrum. She was very functional and did well in school, helped by her IEP, a common practice. At her high school, my daughter was approached by a girl who had recently come out at school as transgender. Shortly after meeting her, my daughter declared that she, too, was a boy trapped in a girl's body and picked out a new masculine name. She first came out as transgender to her school, and when she announced that she was a boy, the faculty and staff who had full knowledge of her mental health challenges affirmed her without telling me or my wife. They referred to her by her new name. They treated my daughter as if she were a boy, using male pronouns and giving her access to a gender-neutral bathroom. When her mother and I first found out, our feelings of helplessness and astonishment made it difficult to get through each day, but I feel my daughter is a victim more than anything else. I told the school that our wishes were to call her by her legal name at all times. The social worker present at the meeting stated we have a right to make that request, so I assumed school staff would follow her directive. I followed up that meeting with an email, but later learned that my request was ignored, and school staff continued to refer to her by her male name. Oh, what school is this, you say? Who's doing this? Hinsdale Central High School. Hinsdale Central. Yeah, not CPS, not something where you think that this is going to be a radical school. Oh, no, it's Hinsdale.
A former Republican bastion. Yes.
Hinsdale District 86. That's who did this.
And it was repeated at Fremd High School. It was repeated at so many high schools in Chicago. I mean, it's the same story, but it was spreading. And it used to be, we have to celebrate. Like, I don't want to celebrate anybody's sexuality. That's why I choose not to go to the gay pride parade. Okay.
Right. So that was in 2019. In 2020, in 2019, Pritzker comes in office. By 2020, he has a 20-page directive on supporting transgender, non-binary, and gender-conforming students. That is, they call it correctly. It is non-regulatory guidance, but it is guidance that they expect schools to adhere to. And on page 8, they say, taking a student-centered approach, district employees, this is part of their guidance, should be aware that many transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming students experience family rejection. School officials should work with students and whoever else is appropriate to develop a plan regarding the confidentiality of the student's identity. That's right. While district staff should never out a child to their family, students, teachers, and other staff, it is true that school cannot control how information will travel once it's shared by the student. But district staff should never out a child to their family. And this is the guidance coming out of Pritzker. This is the guidance that's been in place for all this time. And finally, we have a good ruling that parents need to help enforce this ruling. Well, here to discuss that more with us is a good friend of mine, somebody I served with in the state legislature, Peter Breen. And Peter, I just want to welcome you to the program. You're the vice president and head of litigation at the Thomas More Society. Tell us more about this case.
Sure. And really influential, big win at the Supreme Court, where we had been representing families in the state of California and teachers as well. First clients were teachers. If you can imagine, the middle school teacher was presented a list of 7 kids in her classroom who were transitioning or transgender. 6 of them, parents had no clue, and she was instructed, lie to the parents at the parent-teacher conference. Don't tell them. If they ask direct questions, you evade, or in some cases, you just tell them nothing's happening. And so she said, this violates my religious beliefs, otherwise. And so we started the case in 2022 with a request filed in 2023. We got a preliminary injunction, one of the first in the country against one of these policies. But we were getting inquiries from all over the state, and we only had an injunction against one school district in California, and the AG was trashing the decision. So we said, well, let's get the AG into court. We expanded to a statewide class action, and finally, after years of litigation, they dragged it out. They scorched earth litigated this. We won just before Christmas this past year. The Ninth Circuit immediately enjoined our statewide injunction, saying, hey, you can't lie to parents and you've got to respect their wishes as to what their children are called. And then, we said, well, this is so important and we've got such terrible things happening. One of our clients, their child attempted suicide. That's how they found out the school had been transitioning their kid for a year. And so we said, hey, we've got to stop this. It took the Supreme Court, they took it under advisement. And normally with motions like this, it's an emergency motion. They normally just say denied. And then a week passed, and then 2 weeks passed, and then 3, and then 4. And we said, oh my goodness, they're going to do something. And we didn't know if it would just be a one or two justices dissenting. Well, all of a sudden we get this full order where the court says you can't do this, and it's a violation of parents' fundamental rights to direct the care and upbringing of their children. And in fact, they cited case law going back to the 1920s. So it's common sense for us that obviously the parents are in control here, but the court had not really expressed this in such a vigorous way in many, many years. And again, pulling 1925 case law forward to 2026. And so it was a huge, huge victory for us, and reaffirmed as well that religious parents have even more rights. So because they have a right not to have their religious, control of their children violated. So really big decision, and that's where we are. So now we are going to have to go through. I've already got calls from New Jersey. Their state AG was suing local school districts to try to make them not tell parents we're going to deal with things here in Illinois. So now it's time for pushing forward to clean this up and end this practice forever.
I know that this is a different part of law, but any criminal charges against the teachers who, knowingly hid this information and felt so powerful to make sure that they were in charge of the kids, not the kids' real parents?
Well, and you wouldn't do criminal, but here's the thing.
Civil.
When you want to sue in civil court, let's say, and unfortunately, my clients, they literally found out from the doctor calling them from the hospital where their child had attempted suicide, was trying to treat them post-suicide attempt. And that's how they found out. But if families are harmed and they have actual damages, because of this Supreme Court decision, this is now called a clearly established right. So any functionary, any bureaucrat, anybody all the way down who violates that right of those parents, the parents can sue them personally, not just the school district, but that individual personally for violating their constitutional rights and get damages from them personally. So it is a really big deal to have this ruling from the Supreme Court that's got some real teeth to it.
So does that mean you could eventually sue the, State Board of Education here in Illinois, the superintendent? I mean, I want to sue the whole shebang, all of them.
Hang them high, Jeannie Ives.
I hear you. Well, so we are in the process right now of putting demand letters together. And I will say the school board attorneys, knowing school board attorneys, they're usually pretty careful people. And so I am assuming, at least in the state of California, the School Board Association has now put out notices to all of their school boards saying, hey, you got to end these policies right now. I am hopeful that the other states will do the same. If they are not, we will assist them, and so we'll send out demand letters. That's what we're preparing now, and model school board policies. But anybody that's dragging their feet, we're going to go after them and quickly.
Well, I'm looking on the Illinois Association of State School Boards. I do not see any glaring press release like, hey, you better get this under control, otherwise you'll get sued.
Well,
I'm not surprised.
You know what? I end up suing the state of Illinois usually about every year or so, and it comes right around this time, after the General Assembly's really bad ideas all get put together. So.
Oh, Peter Breen, we so appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Executive Vice President and Head of Litigation for the Thomas More Society. You guys are a godsend, and everybody should go there and give them $50. Donate to that organization or more if you can. Thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great Friday.
This week on Capitol Hill is the best way to get informed on everything going on with Congress. Hosted by Tony Perkins and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
2025 was setting the table. The feast and the banquet in the economy will be 2026. And it's beginning to happen right now. Bigger tax refunds, bigger paychecks already beginning and more on the way. The big, beautiful bill is being implemented right now.
Stay informed and become a regular listener. This week on Capitol Hill, Sundays at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. U.S. warplanes ramping up assaults against Iran on day 21 of Operation Epic Fury.
The Pentagon announcing it has deployed the venerable A-10 Warthog attack aircraft to begin striking targets responsible for Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, using its 30-millimeter chain guns along the coastline in an attempt to open the Strait of Hormuz.
That is Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai. The strait is used to transport oil. Iran is retaliating by hitting oil infrastructure. Martial artist and action movie star Chuck Norris has died.
We know who the shooter is. That's what I came here to tell you. And we're going to get him to talk. And when he does talk, we're going to get a name. Your name.
That's Norris and Walker, Texas Ranger. His family posted that he died after a medical emergency in Hawaii. He was 86 years old. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect variable cloudiness with a high temperature of 65. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring partly sunny skies and warmth, reaching a high of 70. By Sunday, it will be mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler with a chance of showers in some areas. The high temperature will be 50, but temperatures will drop into the lower 40s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
If you'd like a smartphone that's really smart, download the OnePlace.com app, the app that will inspire your faith daily and provide answers to the biggest questions of all. OnePlace lets you download your favorite pastor's programs and listen, even offline or in airplane mode, with easy connections to your Bluetooth speaker or dashboard. To download your free OnePlace app, visit the iTunes App Store or the Google Play Store for your Android device and search for OnePlace. That's OnePlace.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic, could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did, they gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
Salem Surround. Is your business hard to find online? Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
At Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace, dementia care isn't just what we do. It's all we do. We specialize in caring for those with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia. We're on the forefront of dementia care with a barrier-free, stress-free environment, so residents can explore safely and feel at home. But what truly sets Terra Vista apart? Personalized care. We take the time to learn each resident's story, where they lived, their routines, former careers, even the names of family members. Anyone who interacts with your loved one can immediately make them feel comfortable and understood. We meet our residents right where they are. Residents stay strong and engaged with multi-sensory activities, music, art, horticulture, our beautiful 18,000 square foot outdoor space, and even a personal trainer. At Terra Vista, residents aren't defined by their dementia. We honor the whole person. Speak to an advisor or schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org, and tell them AM 560 sent you.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
AM 560, The Answer.
What day is today? Friday. You know what that means?
Stimulate your mind, man. It's Friday.
One day I'll have Friday on my mind.
It's Friday. Shouldn't you be off with your friends, scaring old people?
It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
No holds barred, free-for-alls. After this Friday, the neighborhood will never be the same.
Might hit the highway on the Vegas run, fool, cause it's Friday. Oh, yeah.
Becomes a free-for-all.
It's finally Friday.
You know what happens here on Friday?
This type of free-for-all melee.
The phone lines are open. Call Jeanne and Amy now. 312-642-5600. It's time for Free for All Friday.
Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome back to The Real Answer with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson.
The real story.
The real story.
The real answer.
Did I really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's Friday for Amy. That's for sure. She's starting early.
Week. Oh, my God. Well, I've got to tell you, we got a text message in reference to our interview with Peter Breen from the Thomas More Society, former state rep, too. And he joined us about the Supreme Court decision on transgenderism and how we have our parental rights back. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this teacher, Carolyn Pinta. She works at Twin Groves Middle School. She was responsible for the Buffalo Grove Gay Pride Parade. She started a gay club at BG and then was, actively recruiting kids to join her and, just basically brainwashing them. And then she put a post up about President Trump wanting him to die. And it was all, so it's been a big to-do. Parents finally, they yanked their children from her classroom because of her violent rhetoric on social media. But she kept her job, Jeannie. Well, we're learning now that she is on an extended medical leave. And she's shut down all of her social media with the comment, quote, "See you on the other side." So no one really knows what that means. If they made her leave, if it was a compromise that she get mental health, but she's on medical leave. So this segment hit home to one of our listeners who texted that in because they were just, a lot of the teachers there say that she's apparently been out a few weeks and sent emails to her students that she was on medical leave. So teachers are very she has a right to free speech, but then we have, the teacher at Gary Elementary in West Chicago who doesn't have a right to free speech. So if it's free speech that the unions like, then you could keep your job. But if it's the other way around, sorry, you got to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, what do you say? I mean, people are just out of their head. And I was looking for a clip. I don't see it up yet. That's okay. Well, what was it? Where is it? Oh, Nymerg one. Okay, I want to play this because yesterday in a House committee, it got a little bit testy. And this is a bill that Katie Stewart is responsible for passing the bathroom bill, saying that you have to integrate them. She's also a supporter of, tampons in the boys' bathroom. She doesn't know what a woman is. We played that speech with Blaine Wilhauer against her. She couldn't describe that. So, but this is her with Adam Niemer talking about a hormone insurance mandate. And here's how that broke out. Take a listen.
You're pushing gender hormone treatment.
I'm making sure that women going through menopause can get the medication.
You're billing it that way, but that's
false.
Representative, this is a mandate for insurance companies through medical providers to have gender hormone treatment for children. Is that how I'm reading this?
There's hormones that treat lots of different ailments and are used for lots of different purposes.
Well, it says clearly that it's puberty blockers. It's gender hormone treatment.
And those are decisions made with doctors and patients.
For children. This could be
made with
basically,
doctors and patients.
You're telling me that this bill, we have a mandate for insurance companies to have children. This is going to be paid by the insurance companies for gender hormone treatment at 12 months supply for children.
If that's what's prescribed by their doctor, the medical professional that the family works with.
So you have a bill that's under the guise of menopause. You're not changing the current code to account for this, but you're really pushing a bill here. And I think it's very important to everybody in this room and everybody in this committee to know what you're doing here. You're pushing gender hormone treatment
I'm making sure that women going through menopause can get the medication.
You're billing it that way, but that's false.
Representative Leader Stewart. Let him finish, and then his questions. He is a member of this committee, so you're a guest in his house, so let him finish.
I apologize.
Thank you, Chair. But that, you could do a simple change to current code to account for what you want in this piece of legislation. But the way that you're explaining it to me, and it seems like a simple fact, this is an insurance mandate for a 10-year-old to go in, take puberty blockers, and change their gender. And that's patently wrong. So I would urge everybody in this committee to vote no. No more questions. Thank you, Chair.
So that's the level of... Okay,
we're going to stand at ease for 5 or 10 minutes, Representative.
Okay. So that's the level of debate that you get. You get dishonesty on these committees. And so she is passing a bill that would require insurance companies to allow for a 12-month supply of hormone treatments. And she didn't deny it. She didn't deny that it's not for minors at all. But of course, it passed the insurance committee on a party line vote. 9 Democrats voted for that garbage, and 4 Republicans voted against this. And this is where you get. So the trans issue in the state of Illinois continues on.
Oh, I know. They still have transgenders in sports, transgender male players playing in sports. But that's not the rules. The rules have changed, but they don't adjust to that because they don't like them. And that is what Democrats do, I should say. It's just so frustrating. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Chuck Norris, Texas Walker Ranger. In case you haven't heard, he passed away. Staunch conservative, big Trump supporter. Trump loved him. He was in shape. I mean, he was ripped until the end. I always admired him in his late ages. You know, like, oh, how can he maintain that? But he is a good man. And this is his comment when and why he switched, because he used to be a Democrat. And then he became a Republican.
Question for you, good sir. Why are you a conservative, sir?
Well, I used to be a Democrat, but unfortunately, the Democrats went too far to the left, and the Republicans moved into their position that the Democrats were 40 years ago. See, and so what the Democrats believed 40 years ago, the Republicans believe today. And so I realized that I had to go to a Republican because the Democrats just got too far off the trail. They just got completely off the trail and lost all reality of what America stood for. And so I realized that Republicans at this point in time are more focused on what is best for America than what the Democrats are.
And he died at the age of 86, surrounded by family and friends. And that's an accomplished life. And also, too, he was a mixed martial artist as well.
Let's go to George in Naperville. Apparently, Trump derangement syndrome qualifies you for medical leave. What's up with that?
Yes, I want to know if that does give you medical leave rights if you have Trump derangement syndrome.
Well, I mean, she did make threats against Trump. She should have. I mean, the feds should have come in and swarmed in on her. She's crazy. We've talked about her before for the past 7 years. This teacher at
Another reason Dan Toff isn't married.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yep.
But I was amazed when she made that first social media post because she has total Trump derangement syndrome. There were 5 kids left in her class. That's how many parents pulled their kids, sons and daughters, because they didn't want her around them. Because you'd walk into a room and there's rainbow flags and trans this, trans that. It's like you walked into Candyland there. And we're supposed to be studying school, okay? We're supposed to be learning math and reading and social studies and all of that, but it was anything but.
Well, you can walk into Edison Middle School in Wheaton, 6 houses down from where I live, and you'll see the pansexual flags hanging from the wall there. I mean, these people are nuts. Okay.
But we grew up, Jeannie, with just the American flag. And maybe if you took French class, the French flag would be up, but never higher than the American flag. Or if you took Spanish, the Spanish flag would be up. No one pushed their ideologies on kids back then. They just, at least not for me. I never had that. I don't know if that was the same experience for you.
No, we only had American flags. I never saw anything else. Let's go to Eduardo in Tampa Bay. He wants to talk about a couple items. Eduardo, welcome to the program.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies. It's a shame with that lawyer student. I mean, the city like Chicago, LA, New York, they need curfew laws. And let me also mention, I don't know if you guys heard about this, James O'Keefe, because I heard this on KFI, the LA station over there. James Cobo was talking about it. So homeless people are getting paid to register to vote over there. So I don't know if you heard about that.
To vote over where, Eduardo?
In LA County. LA County.
Oh, yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the homeless are allowed to vote. They can vote, and they can put the homeless shelter as their resident address. But, yeah, they are allowed to be registered to vote. So
what if you're on Skid Row? Do you put Skid Row, L.A.,
right.
zip code? No, I shouldn't laugh, but it's it's a problem. Even President Obama the other day ripped on Gavin Newsom for the sickening amount of homeless populations that there are in San Francisco. Then you've got one in San Diego that's huge. It's right by where the Padres play. I mean, it's absolutely just drive it by sometime, guys, if you're out there, and just hope that it never comes to a place near you.
But Eduardo, you bring up a good point. Thanks for joining our program, because we've been talking about the SAVE Act, and we might as well talk about it right now. So this is Mike Lee, senator from Utah, discussing the SAVE Act with Dick Durbin, senator from Illinois. Take a listen. It's a little bit long, but it's worth listening to.
We took great pains to go out of our way to make sure that no American would be left in the dark. Well, this will not cost them a dime, and no one will be excluded if they can't find their documentation.
All of us should be aware of the fact of what is required by this act when it comes to registering to vote. You have to present identification, correct? But your driver's license, which most people use in the course of business every single day, is not acceptable. What is acceptable is a passport. 50% of Americans do not have a passport. Those who want to obtain it so they can vote will pay $186 and wait 3 or 4 weeks for that to happen. Secondly, you can use a birth certificate. But any person who has changed their name as a result of a marriage or a hyphenated relationship has to find not only their birth certificate, but some correction of it to prove that they're eligible to register to vote.
I'm happy to report to my dear friend and colleague, Senator Durbin from Illinois, you're in luck. We've taken care of that. When you read the bill, what you'll discover is that we've made special accommodation for those who don't have documentation, or those who can't find their birth certificate, maybe their house burned down, maybe their dog ate it, whatever it is. When all else fails, if you don't have documentation establishing the information on your birth certificate or what would be in a passport or otherwise, the bill contains a provision requiring each state to allow an alternative mechanism by which someone can, by attestation, issue a sworn statement establishing the critical facts underlying their citizenship. It then puts the onus on the state to follow up on that and to determine the authenticity of it. States have access to their own records. States have reciprocity with other states and are able to achieve verification of that. So we've taken care of that problem, and so I'm sure you'll be elated to hear that, and we look forward to having your affirmative vote when we vote on the Save America Act. We took great pains to go out of our way to make sure that no American would be left in the dark. Well, this will not cost them a dime, and no one will be excluded if they can't find their documentation.
Gosh, Durbin sounds old. Oof.
Yeah.
It's about time to retire. And he schooled him in a very gentlemanly way. But I don't know about you, Jeannie, but you and I are both women. And Democrat Andre Carson, he's from Indiana, he says that we can't have proof of citizenship to register to vote because women are too busy. We have stuff to do.
Trump and his congressional Republicans are absolutely trying to dismantle our electoral process. And the SAVE Act, it impacts millions of women who change their last names after marriage, many of them who are mothers who are incredibly busy. They don't have time to track down extra paperwork. It will also prevent minorities from voting, and their strategy couldn't be more clear. And the American people are pushing back. I hope the Senate does the same.
I mean,
how
this is just
insulting is
ridiculous.
that to women?
It's really insulting. I mean, I changed my name. I had no problem getting a new Social Security card, and you don't change your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is your birth certificate paired with your Social Security card. It tells people who you are. I mean, this is absolutely insane. They're trying to block a provision where 85% of Americans agree in showing voter ID. And there was and you know what? They tried to be accommodating to the Democrats. They said, look, okay, you don't like the entire SAVE Act? Mike Lee explains how we'll split the two. We'll adopt Senator Husted's amendment, and we'll just vote on voter ID at the ballot box. Let's see what he says here.
For the same reasons articulated by the senator from Ohio, I think this is an exceptionally good idea. It's not every bill where it makes sense to separate out a provision, try to pass that provision on its own, separate from the rest of the text of the bill. But this is one of those instances where it makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Neither I nor the senator from Ohio are suggesting that we still don't need the rest of the Save America Act. That's not our point. The point is that these are separately divisible, such that they could be enacted separately. And insofar as there is a greater degree of consensus with regard to the voter ID component of the Save America Act than there are with regard to the citizenship components, it makes sense for us to get this done now. Let's pass it. Let's pass it right now. Let's pass it by unanimous consent. Let's make this law, and then we can proceed back to deal with the rest of the issues within the Save America Act. This is what progress looks like. This is what consensus building looks like. And I thank my friend and colleague from Ohio for raising this. Look, no matter how you feel about the rest of the provisions of the bill, it's not too much to ask somebody to just show who they are when they show up on voting day. That provision is very simple. Let's get this passed. Let's get it done right now.
Madam President.
And of course, they didn't do that.
No, and we got text messages 847. Oh, no, this one is from 815. Jeannie and Amy, if we want access to our husband's bank accounts, we will change our names. But also, too, don't forget what Senator Chuck Schumer said. And he said this out loud, and people went, what? I mean, he said, if we pass the Save America Act, it will allow ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the voter rolls. And the Democrats can't have that because in states like Illinois and New York and other Dem states, people are moving out and they need the illegals to keep their congressional districts. That's what this was all about. All those people sleeping in front of our police stations and making it hard for us to file police reports and things like that for months on end. That was what this was all about. They didn't have an open heart. They don't care about the Venezuelan coming with their 3 kids. They see voters. They're indispensable. Like, oh, we need you to vote, but we'll give you this too so that you stay here.
They see plussed up census pools in their states so they can maintain their congressional representation. Okay, we've got callers lined up, and we'll be back hopefully with more. 312-642-5600. Back after this break.
Make your voice heard. Call or text The Real Story at 312-642-5600.
Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. I've always been a strong believer in precious metals investment, and I've always been fascinated with rare coin collecting. But owning the wrong coins that only make dealers a lot of money can be catastrophic for your investment portfolio. AmFed Coin and Bullion specializes in taking people out of non-performing coin portfolios and turning them into gold, silver, or platinum bullion. They tailor a portfolio based on your goals and not what they want to sell you. You'll never experience scare tactics, misleading hype, or high-pressure sales from owner Nick Grovich and his very knowledgeable staff. They will evaluate your portfolio, show you how your coins have performed, and take the time to educate you on the ugly industry practices so that you can make an informed decision. Smart people can make very bad investments when they're under pressure and lack the facts. Call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America. You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we got a text message. Jeannie and Amy. If a woman just got married, she can vote under her maiden name. The voter registration will not yet have her listed under her married name. People have time to post on social media, so they can certainly make time to update their identification and to vote. So thank you for that. Another text message, 847. Amy, how do you do it? How many times have you changed your name? And the thing is I have not changed my name. I just kept it real, kept it Jacobson.
All right. Okay, great. So a little bit of an update, and
Yes.
people did want us to update about the Jimmy Gracie story.
Yeah.
He is the Elmhurst young man who went to University of Alabama student, was in Barcelona with friends, and they did find his body. And he is the nephew of Elizabeth Roscom. Peter Roscom, former congressman from this area. That is their family that this happened to. I know Elizabeth was on her way over to help find him, and then got the news that they had found his body at the bottom of, the water there.
Yeah, the sea. Yeah.
Yes, and so it's really a sad situation. Apparently, he just was trying to climb or something and hit his head and fell and
I'm a rock
ended
wall
up in the
there.
water.
I know. My son was just at that. It's a beautiful nightclub. They have 3 of them in a row right on the ocean there. And we know that he left with somebody, but they don't suspect any foul play. It was late at night. He was a Theta Chi from University of Alabama, but more importantly, he went to St. Ignatius High School. And a lot of Catholics are mourning right now for him. And people that know him absolutely loved him. He was a caddy at Hinsdale Country Club. And with a lot of people going on spring break, please tell your children, remind your grandchildren to stay safe. Watch your drinks. You could get roofied. And also, you have no rights as an American citizen. Once you cross into another country, the only thing protecting you is the U.S. State Department. And they tried to help. First, they found his cell phone. Then they found his wallet. And then, sadly, they found his body yesterday. So our thoughts and prayer definitely go out to him and to the Roscoms. Jeannie, I didn't know that was their nephew.
That's Elizabeth's brother's son. So yeah, it's their nephew. Hey, before we leave here, just a little update because I follow Steve Moore's Unleashed Prosperity hotline. You should get them. Tens of billions of dollars keep flowing to low tax states. The IRS data is out. Guess what? Florida, the big winner, the big gain. $20 billion in new revenue to Florida. $5 billion to Texas. Oh, who are the losers? California loses almost $12 billion. New York, almost $10 billion. Illinois lost $6 billion. Just between 2022 and 2023, these are high net worth people. These are middle income people leaving the state, and all those billions flow out of here. We need a change, Illinois.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who